Why did you choose to start a business in the first place? What was the burning desire? Do you think the tough childhood has shaped you to the person you are today? How do you know you are? What's the feeling you get right now?
Seeing as the way people live my presence and the way people come into my presence, the way they feel, the way I feel about the brief period that we had together, the difference I was able to make, just focusing on what is great and how I manage my emotions. Because emotions takes a lot of the job. We excess so much emotions that we don't even realize it. And with time, and it didn't come to me naturally, but with time and practice, the way I feel and the lighter the room feels whenever I'm there and when I'm leaving and when people get to connect with me, that's actually what is giving me the fulfillment that I'm actually walking my path. Because it's my end goal that when you walk into any space or anyone leaves your presence, you all should feel very light. No matter what the conversation or the transaction, we should leave on a lighter note. And that's my mandate. And I've been doing that to the best of my ability.
You know, that's very interesting coming from an entrepreneur who's in the food industry. Mm-hmm. You know, doing catering and restaurant and fast food. I've always said it's the most difficult business you can ever get into because people are never happy about those things. So I'm just wondering how you've been managing your emotions, your expectations, and then the business. How are you juggling all of that?
You know, just like you said, it's a very difficult terrain that I am in because we all have different palettes. So you cannot satisfy everybody. To backtrack to what I said, no matter how difficult the transaction is, no matter how heavy the conversation was, finding a mutual way for us all live on a lighter note. So it's more of being a listener. Whatever it is that anybody has a challenge with, be it your service, the end results, getting through to your team, or being dissatisfied with the entire experience working with you, let people talk. Let people share their developmental feedback. Don't be defensive about it. Because I tell you this again, that emotions is something that fuels all of us. So at that moment, you're filled up with whatever that happened. And sometimes it has nothing to do with you, but you were the last bit that they could vent their frustration on. And also being very empathetic. Because don't believe that what you give is the best. It's the best for you, but is it the best for them? So empathy is actually something that guides me in the way I approach all this hassle that comes with the business. Because, empathy. It might be good for me, my team, our values, what we believe, our goals, our objectives. But maybe in rendering the service, it might not have ticked everything for the client.
You know, how much of the issues and the situations and the problems that happen in your life you carry? And how are you carrying that?
With grace. So much grace, because my childhood hasn't been a pleasant one. It's something I really don't talk about. In as much as I'm very transparent, people don't know the dynamics in which I was shaped. I was raised by a single mom for the most part of my life till I was 15. Then she got married to my stepdad. Amazing man. Amazing. I don't if there's any better word to describe Dr. William Henry Cotis Haniza. Help me. When he came into our life, it felt as though a young girl was carrying so many blocks of cement. I couldn't see them, of course, so it was in the mind. I felt as though someone has just taken something off me and my mom. at once. So I feel a lot of people are carrying too much that we cannot see. Some don't even realize they're carrying. You know what I mean? So being in a position where I've carried, whether I knew at the time at a younger age, but now as an adult, I realized it was a weight. And with dynamics switching up, it became lesser. It made me juggle everything and everything else as though in that moment it's weight. What can shift that weight? Sometimes just a hug. Yeah.
Do you think the tough childhood has shaped you to the person you are today?
Absolutely, Derek. Absolutely. Because for me, everything that I've been through actually is something that I don't want anybody to ever have to deal with, not even my worst enemy. I don't wish it for anybody walking the surface of this earth. Anything I experience that is, it's not exciting, it's so bitter to swallow, I don't want it for anybody. So it's my mandate here on earth to be that person, that beacon of hope.
Wow.
That makes things lighter. Because I know what it feels to carry that weight. I know what it feels to go through it.
If you were to tap back in, what was the heaviest load you carried by yourself?
Not being able to spell my surname correctly. You know, names are important. And I've spelled my surname wrongly for as long as I can remember, to the extent that it's stuck there. Because I can't backtrack to my birth set to everything. No, I can't. That's the heaviest weight. Not knowing the right spelling of my surname.
Your own name.
Till I was 26 and someone had to correct me at the airport. So the name was like, what name are you answering to? Then I told the person, this is the name. Said, it strikes a chord, but this is not the right way. Then I said, okay, you tell me. And I was so upset. Because I mean, it's my name. How dare you? Because like, let's say, I don't have any better example, but there are certain surnames that sound the same, but they are spelled differently. So that was my defense. Like, what's going on here? Then she went on to ask where I come from. And I told her, and he was like, no. It showed me the right way to spell it. I didn't accept that. I moved on, but I had to research. And it reminded me of a time in primary school. Another teacher, who was a Nigerian teacher that came for visiting, also told me the same thing. By the time I was too young to. But then I was like, whoa, I had that flash image of that time. And I was like, whoa. I didn't even know it was weight.
But I mean, why couldn't you? Why couldn't you spell it? Were you? Why couldn't you?
I didn't grow up with my father. So my mom had met what at the time was the love of her life. Fast forward, they had a child. Before I turned 2, he was supposed to travel back to Nigeria for a quick something, whatnot. Never came back. And this is what I've been told. The name he gave me, because he named me, he was there when I was born, was actually the mother's name, something dear to him. The surname, however, the way he spelled it, whether it was not spelled right from the very day of birth, if you're a good dad, when the birth set comes, you will see it, you correct it. So that means what? You didn't pay attention to that. That means you're not detailed about even the child that you just had. Because when I had a baby, they did mistakes with the set. Because it's an error, it can happen. But
Human error.
my husband saw it. Because he's named his children and it has to be spelled the right way. That's a father right there. That's a dad right there. So that's how For me, now as an adult, I look at it that you were never there from the very beginning. Because you know how people can be there, but they're not present? He wasn't present. And that's just how I want to live it when it comes to that daddy part.
I know what you're expecting. We're going to get there. There's going to be a lot of business happening, but I have to flow with the conversation. We see, there's something about trauma, right? And I say, for me personally, how we take trauma, it's always, we need healing. We need healing. There's one aspect of that. The other aspect is, if I had not gone through the trauma I went through, I wouldn't have been the Derek I am today. So that trauma has actually been a catalyst to a lot of the things I am doing for myself, my wife, my kids today. Do I still need healing from it? My worry is that if you heal me too much, you might take away.
No, you won't be anything that you are today without that. Everything shapes us.
Yes.
Good or bad.
Yes. And I feel like everybody has trauma. Whether we want to notice that and recognize that for ourselves, that's another conversation. You've gone through the mill, your own traumas, and fast forward, you had a 9 to 5. You decided, okay, let me quit that job. But the smartest way that I want to do it is, I'm not going to quit yet. When I heard that, I said, that's ingenious.
Yeah, security. Because you need cash flow for whatever that you're going to. A lot of people that talk about not starting what they want to start because they say it's lack of capital. And I ask myself, why won't you do something else that could bring some security of cash flow and then use that to finance whatever that you want to do? You can't just sit and wait till you can shoot. While you're waiting, learn how to shoot. So by understanding other people, by learning from other people, whether you're even going to do stuff for free. I've done a lot of free stuff. Trust me, the returns, it can't be compared to anything they would have ever paid me. Because to get access to certain people, oh my. If only people would see how honorable it is to get access to entrepreneurs or even anyone in the corporate space, be it your manager, working under somebody, if people knew how much you can learn. You can never learn that from a classroom, no matter which class, be it Harvard, and I've been there. You can't. Because, experiences is different from academia. You can't compare the two. Why is that in Ghana, when you're done with your uni, they'll push you somewhere to go and do your service? They understand what you need to learn there. That's the experience you're accumulating. Why is that when there is any vacancy, they'll write bare minimum a year, 2. You need those experiences. If not, academia is enough to just get you to straight managerial role.
Yeah. So you didn't quit your job. You said, I'm going to stay in there for as long as the company would allow me. And while I start my business. That was very good. But, why did you choose to start a business in the first place? What was the burning desire?
It was through weight loss. But this is me. I'm always looking for opportunities. I'm always looking at what I can do differently. Oh, what is out there that I can do to earn a little bag? I've always been that girl. Back from uni, I'm selling gadgets with my boyfriend, now my husband. Then after school, anyone who goes for holiday, me, if you give me that chop money on holiday, when we go for summer, whatnot, I'm not buying for myself. I'll buy the things and come and sell them and make something off my vacation money. I've always been very entrepreneurial because I'm looking at it that, okay, I have 1 seed. Can I turn it into 2 seeds? That's just the way I think. That's just the way I operate. So my mom has always done food business.
Okay.
This is the hack.
Okay.
my mom has always been like, my mom's bankun is notorious. If you eat my mom's food, that's it.
Okay.
I realized, what is there that she can leave me with? Because I'm thinking legacy.
Okay.
I just don't want my mom not to be here anymore, and then the notorious bankun, this good thing, this recipes that she's actually mastered over the years, it's just gone with her. So weight loss was a thing, trying to do my stuff in the kitchen by myself just so that I can, shed some weight. Then I saw that big opportunity of a mother sitting down there. Let me learn from this woman and add on. What is an HR doing with food? That was what my stepdad was so worried about. Like, what are you going to do with food? Like, you have a good career going on for you. That's all you've always wanted. I would say I've been blessed to actually get some of the things I want because I was doing the things that wasn't pleasant at the time and able to catapult me to the things that I want. So for me, service is number one. Because when you prove yourself somewhere else, someone else is watching. The people you're working with, they are all people, and all these are network. They can speak for you somewhere. That's how I landed my HR job to begin with, because I worked and served at Lene when they didn't even need anybody. I said, please, I'll do it. I just want to, get me a seat. I don't need money. And I didn't know it would even pay off 6 years later, because at the time, I was 19 when I asked for that job at Lene. And when I was 24, they helped me secure the job as an HR at a company that wanted something else that I applied for, that I wasn't qualified for. They now had to find a role for me because they saw talent. And they did not see it, but the people that had to get shortlist the employees for them saw that this girl we brought, even though she doesn't fit the role you've advertised, if you have any place for her in this field, don't let her go. And they found a place for me. If I hadn't done that service some time back, I wouldn't have had that chance. So for me, I'm always looking at avenues to serve, and maybe it will serve me sometime later. If it doesn't, I'll still learn. Chichi, will learn something from it. And that's the end goal.
I described this mindset to Edward, who's my business partner. We're driving, somewhere going to Essex in the UK.
Tell me.
The same thing. And I said, there were two guys who came to Ghana, and then, a mutual friend called me from Lebanon. We become friends today, right? And they wanted me to help them, give them some information about the Ghana farmer and all of that. I did all of that. I spent about 6 hours a week on that project. Just spend time with them, give them everything. But when I was going in, this is somebody who, I don't need to do that. This is just a couple of years ago. I don't really need to do that. But I went in with, these guys are over the age of 60. There's a lot I can learn from them. They're already in the pharma industry in Lebanon. What an opportunity to learn. When I described it to Ed, and I said, yeah, I did it for them. And later, fast forward, a few years down the line, I get a phone call from one of them saying that there's an opportunity they want to bring on my table. Now, that sort of mindset is, people cannot conceptualize that idea.
They're short-sighted.
Wow. I love it.
I've
spoken to several entrepreneurs. And when I see the ones that have those things in their eyes and operate by that rule, I see the trajectory of success that they have.
When you come to my office, the first thing that will welcome you when you open the door immediately, there's an inscription that says, service to man is to God. I live by it. Oh my God. That's the only Bible I understand, word for word. Because the Bible in itself, in its entirety, if you take time to read it,
there's gems in there, man.
It's all service.
Yeah. How do you encourage your team to operate by those principles?
By sharing a bit of the things I've experienced. So for me, you won't work with me and then you will leave by just acquiring the skill on the job. It's more about acquiring interpersonal skills, being a great communicator, and just being an all-round charismatic person. Because that's the charm. People no longer, gone are the days that we are hiring for skill. It's character. So
I think you need to repeat that.
Gone are the days where people are hiring based on the skills you possess or the things that you've learned over the years. we are now hiring character, because if you have a good character, you're teachable. And we want people that are ready to evolve with a shift. So that is how I encourage them, by emulating. I walk into meetings with people that are just employed with us as a waiting staff. Why? Because if I leave you in that waiting staff, all you will learn is to pick calls. Good morning, Caroline from Nyonyo, Medina branch, how may I serve you? And then get to understand different people and how you should even serve them. It ends there, so limiting. But I rotate my team. Whereas there will be days that you came as a waiting team, all right, but you are dressing today, not in a branded stuff. You are coming with me, walking into the meeting with me. You are going to be sitting in that meeting. I want you to see how we negotiate, how we talk, how we win people over, how we serve, how we look the part. So for me, it's not about words, it's not about the things, it's about seeing how I operate. Up close and personal.
Where did you learn this from? Certainly not in the schools you've been to.
No.
Where did you build that?
I did HR.
Okay.
When they hired me back in TNS, they flew me to Nigeria to go and understudy at the time as senior HR practitioner. And the whole orientation was nothing about HR. This man was like, you are a gem. It was more about being a good person and putting everyone else before you. Not to say that you neglect yourself, but in serving the people, you serve yourself. And this guy will go into his trainings that he has, that has maybe a bit to do with me and almost nothing to do with me. And I'm just observing. And when we are done, he'll ask me, what did you observe? How did the meeting go? Did I do well? And truly want to know your opinion. And I was like, whoa, if every leader could be this way, oh my God, we are going to shape the next generation into being all-round amazing bunch of people and not be just self-serving. So that's where I picked it from the person who oriented me just for 2 weeks. But you see the impact?
Oh, yeah, it's amazing.
Because he didn't do theoretical with me.
Yeah.
You see this clause, and if you do this and you do that. No, that was the last part of it. That was the last bit of it. Just to be on record, I think that's why we did that, because that to be on record, because it's a compliance company. You have to, there are policies that we have to follow. So that was it. But the real thing was to study him up close and personal.
Wow. Anytime I have a guest, I'd usually post it on YouTube and ask my people, what question would you ask Chichi? What question would you ask Kwame, Kofi? And then they'll drop it. Then I'll post it on my Instagram. What do you think about this conversation? What do you think about that? As a matter of fact, this here, a year ago, I started fixing the studio. None of this is my final idea. Everything is what this person thinks, what that person thinks, what that person thinks. Because the truth is, you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the people.
Yeah.
So if the people don't like it, you can't place yourself in the middle of it.
No.
So it's such an awesome
It
concept.
doesn't have to be self-serving.
At all.
No.
We serve the people. I love that. Do you think the people you work with, as in all the way down, they understand these concepts that you've been teaching?
They do. Today, when I dressed up before coming here, what business have I got to do to ask my employees? There was one, the cleaner, and then the new kitchen assistant. Tell them, what do you think? Is it ladylike? Do I look proper for the interview? This is somebody I have so much respect for. Do I look the part? They say, yeah, you look well dressed. I said, you sure? That's how I want you to also dress when you're going out there to meet anybody you have so much reverence for, and even for yourself. Because you have to look the way you want to be addressed. You know, those tiny little bits of things that I drop in their head, they won't forget that. But if I come and I say, these are the rules, follow this, follow that, it's more like we are working with robots, but we are human. Let's add a human touch to it. So to the bottom, to the very last person.
So I've worked in the UK. I've got a business in the UK, right? I've got employees in several parts of the world. And I'll pick India, for example. When I give them something to do, say we are fixing a homepage on one of our websites because there's an issue with it. And we write down, we have a meeting and we say, this is what we're doing. In most cases, I don't need to do anything else. They will do it from the beginning to the end, submit for approval. The culture there is different. In fact, in any culture, you will have the people who are so proactive and so spot on that all they need is instructions, then they will get the job done with their touch, higher than what you expected them to do. But I feel like this part of the world, there are plenty people who need to be spoken to the way you do.
Yeah.
You think that's true?
I strongly believe so. Because a lot of the team, because I'm working with the heavily unskilled stuff. So you realize I said the cleaner and then the kitchen assistant, some have the barest minimum of education being junior high school. So they haven't had anyone to really transform the way they think. But this transformational way of thinking is heavily applied when you're in the higher school. So maybe from senior high to college and stuff like that, then maybe into the career world. So for me, I make it a point that it has to be very transformative. It's more like you're about to school them about life, then the business. So that's how that's my approach, because I just want them to leave my space or my working with me, seeing how the world works and how it can work for you, provided you position yourself well. So I teach them so much beyond the real job description, life skills, basic things, from grooming to how you communicate, to how a message that goes to the recipient can mean one thing, and being sent to another context can mean another thing, and tone. I'm sure when they come, their orientation and the moment they have to connect with me, because the first week you have your work buddy, then the second week you have one-on-one with me, no matter your department. And I'm sure when I'm having a conversation with them, they're like, this is different. And after I ask them, how was this? No one has ever interviewed me this way before. No one has actually had an conversation with this way before, because it's off topic.
Yeah.
It has nothing in relation with the work. It's more about mindsets, the way you think, the way you carry yourself. And also most importantly, the thing that actually really makes me tick is when you are doing it and you don't think transactional at the end of the day. It becomes even more, like, it even pays more. You earn more.
Yeah.
There's a price to everything anyway. But when you are transacting in a way that it's more about you having an amazing experience, the end result being amazing, you are doing over and beyond that, even what the person is paying for. It has a ripple effect. You retain the customer, or you have them do a word of mouth for you. So it's more about how you talk, how you carry yourself. Because if you know how to talk, you can sell sea at the sun.
It's true.
You can sell sun at the sea. So my number one thing is communication. I think that's what has actually really brought me thus far.
So while you're doing all the communication stuff, your business in fact, social media has been the backbone of your business.
Yeah.
I think I was telling you prior to the conversation that I was all the way in London. I had not even come to Ghana, where I saw your page, Nyonyo, the name, like, beautiful name.
Thank
Then
you.
I saw all these jollof rice going up and down. And everybody was talking about it. You need to taste it when you come to Ghana. You need to taste it. And yeah, I was able to convince one of my Nigerian guys to taste your jollof rice, and we won him over, man. He couldn't say it on camera.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah, he couldn't say it on
I
camera.
love it.
But he said, nah, this is it. It's Ghana jollof for me, Yeah. So no, you've done amazing. How did you utilize social media? How did you do it?
Social media is so good to me. I can't even imagine the years before us. because I couldn't afford brick and mortar to begin with. That's a good point to advertise what you do because you have a signage, where people know where to find you. But I realized that I had a phone, and that's the most powerful tool at the time that I had. And with that, I can go into anybody's home, anybody's office. I could reach a lot of people, like worldwide. I knew that if I was going to wait to get a functional kitchen, which I couldn't afford at the time, before I'll go out there, then it's a waste of time. When I have this powerful tool, social media is working, it's doing amazing for a lot of people. And those startups that started with me at the time, that leveraged it at the time, it's truly catapulted us to where we are now. Standing in front of the camera, talking, posting, and stuff like that, it came as a byproduct.
Okay.
Because who better say that the food is good than you? And who is a better example that the food works than you? So I was on a weight loss journey. If you can show a before and after with the things you've eaten and being granted an interview at the time we give to Auntie, it was just a leveraging point for me. I was like, whoa, this is going on TV. If I get a clip from the TV, because not everybody's going to watch that TV, everybody's going to get social media. I have access to a lot more people. Let me use this as a marketing tool. And truly, I can't imagine Yonyo without social media.
Yeah. And today, how many branches do you have?
We have 3.
And what was the first branch you had?
American House.
American
we
House.
We were there for 5 years.
I was there a few times. So you moved out of that place, isn't it? Okay.
COVID hit, life happened, business just evolved. We moved with the shift because for me, I'm not going to sulk. We really hit rock bottom with COVID. I was heavily pregnant. I was away from the business for a year. I was bedridden because of my risk in pregnancy. So all that and not being actively there, and then COVID, it did a lot to a lot of businesses. But what it did for us was everything that is bad or good, it can serve, provided you look at it. What were people doing at the time? No one is coming out to buy nothing. What do? Tell them, I'll bring it to you. Stay in the comfort of your home. Don't take the risk. Don't come out. I will bring the food to your doorstep. So we started doing that campaign, telling people that no worries. If you can't come out, just stay indoors, practice the safe distancing thing. We will bring the food to you. And this was the plan. I knew at the time that I was getting to a place where we couldn't afford the rent.
Right.
And this is an avenue where no one can come out anyway. So I don't need to keep the place. What do? Tell them I will do a delivery. And that was it. I evolved, moved with the shift at the time, heavily invested in courier team, having all the platforms that could help the food to get out there to the masses. And we started doing that as a campaign. Stay home, Nunu will bring the food. Stay home, we'll come to you. So that we don't lose out on the market of the dining when even COVID is over.
Right.
But we are building another segment of the business which will do heavily delivery while we are practicing social distance, COVID, coming out. So we looked at the bad and see how it can work for us.
This thing about you moving away from the business, this happens a lot in, around this part of the world, where you take a place for 5 years, and after 5 years, the business cannot afford to stay there. In your case, you had a lot of other things happening, which is why, you may have not been able to afford, moving forward. But, one may ask, if you're running a business where your numbers are working well, then why can't you afford to pay your rent when you've been there for 5 years?
Let me tell you this. We stay in Ghana. We earn in Ghana cedis. We are paying rent in dollars. Do the math. It's not staying, it's running. The cedi is chasing the dollar. For how long? So it's more about we as business owners now thinking of how we can actually pay bills with the money we earn. So we were evolving. We have the canteen that is working for us now. We realized that let's get tenants, let's get landlords that are open to accepting cedis. 1, let's have partnerships. So whereas it's not always money, that will be the terms of agreement. There could be shares. When you're growing as a business person, I would say American House really did amazing for us because you can't miss it. Location is very important. And American House at the time was so prime. It was prime for our business. But we knew where we were heading with this because it was heavily corporate catering that I was gunning at 3 years into the business because security is very important to me. I realized the restaurant business, a lot of the time, they open, they fold up, they open, they fold up. I didn't want that to be my story. So while even pregnant, COVID had hit, business wasn't going well. We took advantage of the fact that we could do delivery rather than people coming to us because they can't come anyway. We tapped into that. We wanted to...
Go on. Go on.
Wanted to also move with the shift that if American House closes, what happens? Now we are sending proposals to corporate clients. Let's provide corporate lunch to you. And that, I can even do it at my backyard. Once FDA comes, check my kitchen there and realize that I tick all the boxes. I'm approved. I have my certificate. I can operate. At the same time, I'm serving. And then rent becomes something close to nothing. So that's the way I was thinking. More long-term, something that is more sustainable for the business, for myself, and that can outlive me. And with corporate catering, I realized the systems actually work. And everything is written as contracts. No one can just leave you that I just don't feel like it. We have a term to talk about. We have paper to write, to sign, 1 month notice and stuff like that. So it was more with evolving with the shift and what actually will work and is more sustainable for the business because the business was growing, but then again, overhead cost was increasing.
Right.
Now, what do? Do you just fold up?
So you would say that CD-wise, company was profitable, but dollar-wise, it's not.
No.
Because you have to, cough your rent in dollars.
And not 6 months, not monthly. The
3 to 5
barest,
years. Yes.
The barest minimum.
Yes. So you would say that that is what caused you to move away from the prime area that you were initially. All right. So, I mean, people thinking of coming to Ghana to do business, we need to be mindful of that. And, I'm sitting here trying to play the devil's advocate, but it happened to us. We had a pharmacy on Boundary Road when I first came to Ghana. It cost us so much money, paid 3 years, hard dollar. While we were getting close to the 3 years, I realized that, this is not sustainable for the long term.
No.
We have to move to a city place. Because, and I really don't understand why people are forced to pay $1 for businesses. It's a lot of pressure, for businesses. And especially when you are taking 5 years, 3 years in advance. Ridiculous. Hopefully the laws will change and then people can change the way they do things. Yeah. I want us to dig a bit deeper.
Oh, that side.
I want us to dig a bit deeper. And I had to consult, and I'll tell you who I consulted before actually saying that I wanna even talk about this. Your husband is a businessman.
Yes.
And you are a business lady.
Yes.
Now, these are two powerful people in the same house. And I can tell you have a lot of fire in you when it comes to business. How do you guys operate as a couple? Because in one of your videos, you mentioned that initially he used to be a month away and then a month in, a month. How do you juggle that?
Which one do I even answer first?
Let's see what you can do.
I say this to my sisters out there. When you're choosing a partner, choose wisely because they can make or break you. And we need to have good time to study the people because even when you think when you live with a person, I call it discoveries. You discover things that are shocking about the person, and the person also discovers about you that are shocking. But make such all-important decision of choosing a life partner, especially for me, someone you have reverence for.
Okay.
someone you have respect for, someone who has the same level of reverence and respect for you. You know, when you are dealing with someone in a way that I'm careful not to lose you, and then they are reciprocating that same energy. Oh my God, it's amazing. You all tread cautiously out of respect and the fact that you don't want to lose each other. So you tend to listen more than to criticize. And the power play there, I know who is the head of the family. I know my place at the home. I have my king. I'm the queen. I'm the neck to support my king. I mean, nothing confusing there. And not to say that being the neck makes you any lesser. If you know your place as a woman and you have the right man to treat you right, everyone knows their role play and doesn't interfere in any way. It doesn't interfere in any way. So it's not anything difficult for us. I'll not say from the very beginning it was that easy. You get to learn and unlearn things. And provided you want to make it work, you are aligned, you have the same vision, and you want to work your way through it, you will. But nothing good comes easy. Remember that. Nothing good comes easy.
Are you able to play your role as a wife and as a mother the way you expected to have done while you're still running your business? Okay.
Because I'm not in a space where it's a single parenting family dynamics, and also not in the space where I'm only the default parent. My husband knows where the kids' stuff are. My husband knows the kids' favorite meals. He's a present father. So times where I have to do something that is important, he can easily take my space and run the show without calling me, hey, where is this one? Where is that one? He pays attention. He's part of it. We had 2 kids at once. There was no way I could sleep with all 2 babies at once. Other moms have done it, fine. But I asked myself, where is the other parent? So from that very time we had kids, when they came new and premature, that's when I knew that, oh my God, I've made the right choice. He sleeps with one child, I sleep with the other child. And even sometimes you have the 2 because he knows I'm dealing with postpartum. So for my home, it's working for us. It might not work the same way for someone else, but look at what works for you. Because I have my other sisters out there who are proud homemakers and they are full stay-at-home mothers. I doff my hat for them. That's what works for them. So this is what I am doing that is working for me. And I'm so happy to have done it with this man because he understands the dynamics I want my kids to grow up in. We should all be heavily invested in parenting the kids. Yeah.
I love it. I just love it. I watched a video of you when you spoke about the initial issues you had with your earlier, pregnancy. And when I was watching the entire video, I was very empathetic about the situation. But I kind of felt like you were saying it so easily. The resilience, that's what it is for me. Where did you get that from?
You said something from the beginning of this whole conversation that how trauma, whatever that we had to deal with, whatever suffering, whatever hardship, whatever challenge that we had to deal with, shapes us to what we are. And you wish that people have the strength to know that it's all for a greater good. I operate from that same space. You don't have a testimony without a test to begin with. I mean, if you want a testimony, You have to be ready to be tested over and over again. Why is that the darkest hour? It's right before dawn. Ask yourself, because when something becomes so heavy, so tensed, just know it's going to get light. And if nothing has proven to me over the years that it does get better, let's think about the things we had to deal with. Maybe failing an exams, or maybe not having the grade you wanted to have. You had a B instead of A, and you thought your whole life had ended. Look at you now. You went through it. You've been through it. You came out. You are here. It's the same way we have to look at every challenge we deal with. Not to say that the process isn't hard. It is very hard, but that's where real character is built. I wouldn't be this if I didn't go through that. I had to be that beacon of hope for somebody. Because someone somewhere is going to go through that same thing you are dealing with, or you might have dealt with. And in sharing, you have to be very well put together and be able to communicate effectively so that people can get the message. There were times shooting some of these videos that I broke down into tears.
You must have it.
Yeah, because you kind of relive the whole thing again. And now you are sharing it. And in my case, sharing most of my stories, I hadn't come out of the whole tunnel yet. I shared my miscarriage when I hadn't had a baby. I didn't come home with a baby. I was going through it. So it was very difficult. A lot of the time, people share stories when they have been through it and they've come out of it. And they're telling you that if I could do it, you can do it too. But in my case, I was sharing while going through the meal. So you have to make it lighter for those that are going through it. So they understand that you can be going through it. At the same time, you should still have a sense of hope, and you should still carry yourself like, you should be graceful to yourself, because other people just shut themselves off everything when they are going through something. I have people that are in the whole waiting period. Nothing excites them anymore. They don't even want to look good. They don't want to even go to work. They are not themselves just because they are dealing with something. I share in my process so that they understand that with or without, you are you. Any woman expecting, any woman waiting to have their bouncy baby, have that joy, have that thing that you've been yearning for, to hear mommy. While you're pursuing that goal, never lose yourself. That's why I share it and I make it look light, because before anyone else, there is Chichi. And Chichi is not someone that will only be enough when everything else is added on. But Chichi by herself is enough. That's the message I want to carry. That's why when I share my stories, I carry it in a place of being very light, being almost as though it's not heavy, but it's heavy. But I'm dealing with it from a place of grace and from a place of being whole without even what I've been waiting for. Because I'm whole. Any other thing that comes is a bonus. With or without any of those things, I am whole. I am me. And that is enough. That is enough.
After 5 years of having our last boy, I traveled to Germany. I was with my friends and they were convincing me, myself and my wife were like, we're done. She's convincing me, try to have another one. I'm like, yeah, you guys, man, you don't know, sleepless nights, the things my wife is going to go through. Mm-hmm. I came back and I don't know what was happening in her head as well. Maybe she was already sold as well. So as soon as I said, "Did you want to have another one?" Yeah, I don't mind. Okay, cool. So it clicked. Then she tried 1, 2. Well, we tried 1, 2. It didn't happen. So I realized that she was beginning to be a bit, sad a bit. And I said, nah, don't worry about it. Let's not even talk about this. Like, let's not even do this. I'm okay. At that point, realized how important it is for, I'm not even going to say a lady, for anyone, when you're expecting a child and it's not happening. Because very quickly, I try to be very empathetic. Like, I try to understand. When you're speaking, I go through certain thoughts. I was like, nah, this has to stop, because the more you try, the more it's not happening. You're not going to be happy in this house. And
you're going to be fixated on the missing thing. Meanwhile, there's a whole beautiful life happening.
So while I had forgotten about the whole thing, not knowing that, now she got it. She was already pregnant and she didn't tell me. So me, I'm gone. I'm like, yeah, let's forget about these things. I'm going about my whole day. Then one day, I think it was my birthday or something, she says that there's a present she's left for me. Christmas, early Christmas present. I went to open it, and actually she recorded me. The excitement on my face. In fact, that was the day I realized that, I think I was also expecting it.
Aww.
So to be honest, people may be going through it and, expecting and all of that. But I just pray to God that women and men in marriages get that seed, and get it quick enough so that they can take their sorrows away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult place to
It is.
be in. Yeah.
It is.
And what happens is, when you're in that space, what you want so dearly, you get to see it all around you. And even in instances where the people who have you don't even want it, to tell you, oh my God, this pregnancy, I really didn't want it. And then you're like, hey. And then everyone around you suddenly is having children. You go on social media, the first thing is a baby cooing, a 1-year photo shoot. Yeah. And I realized it's just like the red car scenario. If you want a red car, you see lots of red cars. It's very difficult.
Chichi, when you fell, what were you doing that you fell? That's what I didn't gather from the video.
I was bathing and I slipped in the bathroom.
You slipped.
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry, man.
That's okay.
I've said this, that, in fact, people should really, really not be left alone in the bathroom.
I know.
Yeah. Because I have seen something else, even with this pregnancy, where she nearly passed out if I was not around. So these things happen.
Yeah.
They happen.
Yeah.
They happen. Okay, let's lift this.
I know.
Let's lift it. I saw your video with Sonny from Best Ever Food Review.
Yeah.
And then I said, yay, Ghana Jollof is going to win.
I know. That's one of my proudest moments this year.
Yeah.
Even it makes me emotional because, before Sonny came, they did an interview, like a short video for him to feed off your energy if he likes you, and being the first host was something very important. And I was the first host because it's the opening video and everything in the country. So energy. I didn't know that. But me being me, when I did my video, just to introduce yourself, like, my name is Chichi Yakubu, blah, 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 talk about how excited you're about, because I'm a huge fan of Sonny. And then when I sent the video, his team that received it, they just went like, oh my God, you are a Sonny vibe. I was like, oh, okay. And then fast forward, he actually also said, oh, this is the girl for the first host.
Yeah.
It was... It was a moment.
Yeah.
I love to talk about food. That's what I'm doing. any opportunity I want to talk about food. So having that platform to talk about food and not just food, but Ghana, even foods I don't sell. And I made sure I didn't want it to be biased towards what I do. It should be broad. And how it went and the feedback I've had from people all over the world about how much I've made them to learn too much about Ghana food. It's still like very humbling.
I mean, you're doing very well for yourself. I don't know, but sometimes for us entrepreneurs, even when we're hearing it, we don't believe it.
Yeah.
Because we are such go-getters that we feel like we are just scratching the surface. But I want you to receive it, that you're doing well.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're doing
Coming
amazing.
from you. Thank you.
You're doing amazing. If this conversation, there was a bit of me that said, oh, maybe Chichi may not do it. Yeah, there was a bit of me that was saying that, oh, maybe she doesn't want to do it.
No, I always want to share. I always want to make an impact. And I'm my brother, my sister's keeper. I'm always looking out for the best way I can serve. Yeah. And
I thought the timing. Yeah. Thought the timing.
Priorities.
When it started, getting together, I said, yes. It's gonna happen. You love vision boards.
I love vision board. I'm big on it.
Why?
I want to see what I have planned. So I can visualize, I can think about it before I go to sleep.
Wow.
It's pasted right on my side of the bed. First it was right. My husband said, hey, vision. There on my side. He hung it there for me. And then I look at it. I'm like, 2 days ago, we had a conversation about vision. I was like, oh, look, we've had road trips. We've driven to Benin. We've driven to Togo.
Wow.
That's amazing. Wow. And you don't even realize it. The more you look at something or the more you admire something, you become it.
Yes.
Yeah. When you look at it from a place of love, not envy, not jealousy, the people you follow, ooh, that was a Porsche. Ooh, wow, I like it for you.
Yeah.
And you're cheering people on. Before you know it, you become it.
You have your own.
Yeah. So for me, vision board is like, ooh, I don't play with it. I organize it yearly for my girl group, my sisterhood, my soul sisters. We do it at the end of the year. We have 5 ladies in the group. We talk about our goals, what we want to achieve the coming year, the challenges, the setback we've had with that year, what we want to do differently, so on and so forth. And this year, so we've been doing the vision board for 4 years now with my friends, but I've been doing the vision board as far as secondary school. Now, I've been able to offer that service for foodpreneurs because I have a consultancy firm, the business of catering. So I had a group of the ladies with, I think, one gentleman joined, and then we did a vision board party. And so far, people are saying, oh my God, for once, they are looking at something that they have set for themselves and then they have to achieve. Because back then, their goal setting was more like, they say to themselves, oh, I would like to do this, I would like to do that. And they don't document it. And even some write it somewhere and then the book is shelved somewhere. But this, I tell them, you have to hang it somewhere, either in your office, your dining area, on top of your fridge. You can't miss it. It has to be somewhere you see it. Yeah. That will even challenge you to do it. That this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Yes.
The 5 minute, the check, something you sign, a blank check and put it. It's the same thing. I mean, some of us are visual people, so we want to add pictures.
I don't. I've never done a vision board.
I think men don't like vision board.
Well, maybe that's what it is. But
you think it's a feminist?
No, I never said that. But I've never done a vision board because, so I'm very introverted. Mm-hmm. So I'm always in my head. Mm-hmm. So if I wanted to do a vision board right now, I know exactly what's going to be on there because I do it in my mind all the time.
Yeah.
So I know where I'm going to move from here. Mm-hmm. Like everything I want to achieve at any point in time is all here. And I visit it almost every night. Mm-hmm. When I wake up in the morning, as soon as I wake up before I open my eyes, I keep my eyes closed and then I bring it in. That's your own vision board right there without even knowing. Mental. Other people don't have that mental capacity. Yeah. People don't have that discipline. So what they see is what they will do. Yeah. And then they might, some people can't guard their thoughts. That moment you have with your eyes closed, some people cannot do it. No. There'll be so many things racing in their mind. They'll not be able to be fixated on one thing, to guard their thoughts, to be able to do just this within this allocated time before moving on to other things. Yeah.
So for us,
Yeah. So for me, mine is the mind. Ooh, connected minds. Mine is the mind, right?
you.
Mine is the mind. I do a lot of mental exercises and yeah.
That's amazing.
I was speaking to one of my friends and I said, I can actually just block everything out. And she goes, "So why do you do that?"
And zoning.
And I said, maybe it comes from my introvert nature. You know, I've realized that introverts are they are mind people.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of successful people are introverted because they use their mind a lot to think about great things. So maybe that's what it is. But yeah, I'll probably teach my kids how to do vision boards and then see how that goes. Yeah. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Do it as though there was no price to it. Yet, you have to earn. It's weird. I was like, what are you saying? What are you telling me? It's all foggy. Can you be straight with me? And it's like, do it as though there's no price to it, but there is something to earn. You know, prices is 10 cities, it's $10, and that's it. If you know you're going to earn $10, you work $10 worth. But if you don't know what you're going to earn at the end of the day, you give it your all. And then you are going to, you can't quantify it.
Love it. I'm not done yet. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And you know, this conversation has taken several turns. It's one of the chats that I've done where I feel like I've really tested myself. And then also I have a lovely person here who's allowed me to get through the mind up and down. And I really love you for that. Thank you so much for allowing me to test certain abilities of mine. Yeah, it's lovely. Now I want you to talk to me about the masterclass that you have. And I want you to really talk to us about that. The masterclass that you do.
So the business of catering, I realized there's so many masterclasses out there on finances, on branding. The list goes on and on. But for we foodpreneurs, there wasn't really anything out there for us. So I decided to just start the business of catering as a consultancy firm, as another arm of Nyonyo, where we give back. Because for us, what next? Making money, what next? We have to give back. So it's more like a corporate social responsibility of Nyonyo. So we've done lots of free classes. We've done paid classes as well. But it's mainly to let people understand that the food business is lucrative and we should not do it like the way our parents back then were doing it. Because with food business in Ghana, I realized there was a trend that people don't even quantify why they're charging what they're charging. Let me give you an example of maybe pharmaceuticals. I don't know much, but what I know is that there is a percentage you have to place on whatever you're selling, like a 40%. I'm not too sure if I'm wrong, fine. Pardon me. So there are policies, there are terms out there that people are following, you're all following. But with food, it's more like what will be competitive? What will make people buy? Oh, why is this person selling 100? Okay, then I'll also open my restaurant and sell 100. Yeah, that's what a lot of restaurant and food business owners were doing. They compare what is on the market and either beat it or come at the same levels, just so that they can also tap into another market. But I realized that they were not putting a lot of things into factor. They weren't factoring in their overhead costs. They weren't factoring in utility. They weren't factoring in they themselves as
their time.
Yeah, their time. So much we're just left to, after all, it can be 100 cities because A is selling for 100 cities. So I wanted to have this masterclasses mainly to let them know that sell it at what it's worth for you. And people will buy, provided it's meeting their needs. Because it's just a need out there that people want to meet. We are all in business just to solve something, to meet a need or be solution-oriented. That's it. But don't sell yourself cheap just because A is doing it 100, so you're also coming in at 100. How did you get your 100? This is why I'm doing this masterclass, to answer why and how they can arrive at the right cost for their menus, for their businesses, for their catering packages. This is why I'm doing the masterclass. I want them to come from a place where it's business. It's just not passion because I love cooking. Because a lot of the people doing food business, it's heavily because they love cooking. They cook. I don't cook. I'm coming from the business side of the business. So I want them to understand that you being a chef or being a cook is not enough to want to even venture into the business to begin with. But fine, you find yourself there. You need to partner with people who understand the business side of things. I don't want people to operate the food business as just because everybody liked my jollof. Even my mom, my uncles, they said my jollof is nice. So I started selling jollof. That's why they fold up so quickly. Because there are so many research on food businesses that collapse over a time or over a 5 period. If 10 restaurants open, in the first year, about 4 will fold up. Yeah. By the 5th year, you might meet just 1. Why is that? Why do they have a research on that particular business? Because it's something that a lot of people do based on passion, that is one, and based on the fact that they can do it. I can cook. Everybody loves my food. And then they get up, they want to cook. So they never think of the business approach to it, doing their bookkeeping right, putting their costing, doing their costing effectively, what goes into this, what goes in there, the overhead, who comes together to do it, the packaging, the packs that is going into. They don't think about all these things. They don't think about the end results and how to get to the end result, but not the things that come together to bring the end result to what it looks like, to become a brand that you can sell. So that is one thing I realized that was untapped as a masterclass. And with the experience I have, because I'm not a chef and I'm operating a successful catering business, for them to understand that you need help.
Yeah.
You need people who understand the business of catering because it's a very lucrative business,
Right.
but it's more like a hit or a miss industry as well. If you do it right, you can hit. But if you go in just because you think you're an amazing cook and you're going to be heavily invested in cooking in the kitchen, then you are not the business owner at the end of the day. You are the cook. You need to hire people that will manage you as the chef or the cook of the business.
Right.
And a lot of them don't have that.
I see.
This is why I run these masterclasses.
No, it's amazing. So Chichi also has a book, From Passion to Play. Just Google it and then you can find it. It's relatively cheap. You know, if you think about the things you can get from that ebook and the price, I think she needs to increase it by 50%, to be honest. So if you're someone that is thinking of understanding how she was able to turn her passion to the business she has, grab that. But there are 2 things that I've learned from this conversation. The number 1 is service to humanity. And number 2 is character building. And I hope you got that as well. And then this is some of the things that we like to do, which is your favorite personal development book.
There are quite a lot. But will I call this a personal development book? I don't think it is, but I like it.
Okay. Okay, what book is it?
How to Influence People.
How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Yeah. I like that.
Solid book.
It's solid, right?
Solid book. Yeah, that's a good pick. Yeah, that's a good pick. And have you got anything for the audience? And if you do, you can pick a camera.
Oh, just do what you can do at the best of your ability, because whatever you do and you do it with all you've got, there's no way it won't be successful. So just keep doing what you know how to do and do it to the best of your ability.
Well, as I always say, if you haven't left a review and you made it all the way from the beginning to the end, you're a champion and your mind is connected. My name is Derek Abaite. You can find me on all the social media platforms, and you can also find Chichi Yakubu on all social media platforms. Just Google her. So much about her. Thank you so much. Stay connected.